All right, y'all, we're going to fix this fair and square, okay? These are all Bibles. They're all different Bibles. This is a 1611 King James. This is a King James. This is an Amplified. This is New Living Translation. And this is a New King James. And I also got 2 more King James right there. Ask me why I have so many Bibles? Well, because I love the Lord. That's why. All right, so we're going to start with this Amplified right here. On Revelation 13, verse 16, it says, on the New Living Translation, on, even the New King James, on. Now you go over to the King James, and it's in, and it's in. Now the 1611, just for proof, the 1611, right here, very old Bible, in. That's why you guys are walking around thinking that's going to be a freaking tattoo stamped on your forehead and arm. It's in your body, guys. It's not on the outer skin. It's going to be something inside you. Think about that.
What is the number one thing humans need to survive? Aside from food, it's water. That's why the water business can be very lucrative if done right. See, tap water itself, the stuff that comes out of your sink, is pretty inexpensive. But bottle up that tap water, market it as coming from Clear Mountain Springs or Majestic Fountains, and you have a ridiculous markup. You can buy a tank of tap water for $10, use it to fill thousands of plastic bottles, and then resell that tap water for $50,000.
For one tank alone, Nestle pays $10. Once bottled, the same water costs $50,000.
And this is not an exaggeration, by the way. Nestle literally sold bottled tap water with one of their recent lawsuits dating back to as early as 2012. But just like baby formula, you can only get away with so much in first world countries. It's third world countries where you can really take it to an extreme. In Pakistan in 2013, it was revealed that Nestle was diverting clean drinking water away from villages and towns and then packaging it in their factories. They would then resell that water back to the same people they took it from. Honestly, it's pretty genius if you ask me. The people in these towns were forced to drink dirty, polluted water because they couldn't afford to buy the bottled water that was actually theirs to begin with. Here is what the chairman of Nestle had to say about whether or not everyone should have access to water.
Die eine Anschauung, extrem würde ich sagen, wird von einigen von den NGOs vertreten, die darauf pochen, dass Wasser zu einem öffentlichen Recht erklärt wird. Das heißt, als Mensch sollten Sie einfach Recht haben, Wasser zu haben. Das ist die eine Extremlösung.
A decade later, he clarifies his position.
I've always supported the human right to water. Everyone should have enough clean, safe water to meet their fundamental daily needs.
But if you thought Nestle stopped there, you are still sadly mistaken.
The habit of buying junk fast foods that have no actual food in them. We buy gallons of poisonous household cleaners when one degradable soft soap will do. We are poisoning our homes and wasting our hard-earned money for no good reason. Why? Because the advertising industry tells us to. They just want you to buy stuff. For example, if a company pollutes the environment or uses bad business practices, if you don't buy their stuff, they will change. If you don't want food with chemicals or GMOs in it, then don't buy it. The minute we start taking responsibility and spending our money wisely, every politician, every corporation, and leader around the world is going to know that we have woken up. This is the 21st century. If we use our resources wisely, there's no reason why anyone shouldn't have what they need. There's no reason whatsoever why people are still starving to death on our planet. And the common man or woman, whether they are Israeli or Palestinian, Protestant or Catholic or Iraqi or American, the common man just wants to live in peace and justice in a clean environment. When we look around the world and we see that that is not the case, we know that the will of the majority is not being listened to. That's the first sign that our system is broken. Government won't make these changes for us. Yet again, it is down to the common man. No company will continue a practice or product that you, the consumer, will not buy. It's vitally important that you understand this because this gives you ultimate power to change the world you live in. Companies are extremely sensitive about you buying their products because if you don't buy their stuff, they go out of business. That's not something any company is willing to consider. And by choosing to spend your money wisely...
Vegetable oils belong in the engines of cars, not in your food.
These are not real food products. These are products made in factories. These are products that require heat and chemicals and high pressure to extract what little oil there is.
The heat and chemicals used in the manufacturing process oxidizes these delicate seed oils. When you eat oxidized vegetable oils like soy, canola, corn, and safflower or sunflower, they create free radicals throughout your body that are highly inflammatory and known to cause heart disease and cancer. Why are we always trying to eat more antioxidants? To combat free radicals like the ones found in refined vegetable oils.
And then they're used by restaurants in the most carcinogenic way possible. They heat them, reheat them, cool them off, heat them again, and use them for a week. So switching to vegetable oils or seed oils was probably a terrible idea in the first place.
One researcher from the University of Minnesota went to a variety of fast food restaurants in her neighborhood and purchased French fries, and then took them back to her lab for testing. She found numerous compounds of toxic aldehydes in the fries. Aldehydes are known to cause gene mutation, alter RNA and DNA, and trigger massive inflammation in the body.
Vegetable oil is highly toxic, and anyone who advises people to eat vegetable oils is also giving misinformation.
I tell my clients to avoid the industrial seed oils as much as possible.
Vegetable oils belong in the engines of cars, not in your food. Refined vegetable oils are one more reason you should avoid fast food and processed food. If it comes in a bottle or a box, it probably contains vegetable oils, from crackers to cookies, mayonnaise to salad dressings, baby food, and even baby formula.
Some of the country's most vocal climate activists have invested millions into beachfront property on beaches they say will be swallowed by the ocean due to climate change. Climate activist Bill Gates has warned that, quote, there will be places near the ocean that the sea level rise will completely wipe out. But he purchased a $43 million mansion on the beach in San Diego last year, reportedly one of the largest sales ever in that area. Climate envoy John Kerry has mocked people who don't believe the sea level will rise, calling them, quote, members of the Flat Earth Society. But despite those warnings, Kerry shelled out nearly $12 million in 2017 for a beachfront property in Martha's Vineyard. His well-appointed house sits on 18 acres of land on the island, overlooking the Vineyard Sound. Former President Barack Obama focused extensively on climate change and even cited sea level changes as a national security threat in 2015. The Obamas snapped up a Hawaii beachfront property for more than $8 million, however, and their construction project on the land has made waves because they pushed for an exemption from the state's environmental laws protecting beaches. The Obamas wanted to keep and expand a seawall on the property, even though environmental experts say seawalls contribute significantly to beach erosion, and state laws don't allow them. And Al Gore, who has issued perhaps the most dire warnings about sea level changes throughout his career, sunk nearly $9 million into a...
Name me a rap lyric that's respectful. Name me some music that these niggas make that's respectful. How in the fuck they go demand some respect when they some of the most disrespectful motherfuckers to the black woman we ever seen? How? And not only are they in it in their lyrics, they in it in their actions. Future got 12 baby mamas, just putting babies everywhere, ain't raising none of them. Niggas just making fatherless babies everywhere. When all the statistics say fatherless children, nigga, is at the greatest detriment. How this nigga doing this? Every black person have had some type of oppressed, killing, murdered, been bullied by the Crips or the Bloods. I'm telling you that as a black person. Tookie used to take the youth workers' snack lunches and smash the apples on their head. They started out bullying the community. They never stopped. They never stopped. So there's been nothing good in 50 years. They don't have a foundation, no laundry mats. They don't have nothing but death and destruction. If you go in their neighborhoods, you gotta submit to them. You can't just be normal. You can't be a square kid. You got to be what they are. You can't play the violin. You can't play tennis. Why you think out of every game, everybody got to be a shooter or a killer? They don't raise bank executives. They don't raise psychiatrists and psychologists. They have done more destruction in 50 years than slavery did to us.
They can't win because, as I've all said in my other metaphysical work, evil contains within it the seeds of its own destruction. And one really needs to meditate on that deeply and also see it applied in your own life with the tossers that surround us and the evil injustices that are done even in plain view. Watch that experience. Watch what happens to a person who's evil and ruthless and negative. Just observe it. And you'll notice that this is in fact a case. And it's certainly the case up the fractal. Evil contains within it the seed of its own destruction. The moment that you take that kind of anti-human negative stance, you're just waving a red flag to nature, go come and get me, which is exactly what's happening now. It's called the age of revealing and the age of awakening. All the message that somebody like me can give is, can you please get into the spirit of that? Because it's happening anyway. And you can either get into sync with it, or you can just sit there and be smashed when, the river takes a turn. Your ego boat, right, will be smashed. Can you let go of the shores, like the Hopi prophecy says? Can you let go of the oars and go with that flow? Because it's a very dynamic flow, and it will handle it. What happens with us is that we think, oh my God, what's little old me going to do? It's really difficult, and then it becomes like you're suddenly taking it personally, as if your ego is going to be able to run out there like in the old days, grab a sword and do something about it. We have no capacity in that realm. It's a mixture between tremendous responsibility and self-awareness of it, but at the same time the ability to, as Neil was saying, go yin. Let go and let the higher force guide you, because without that guidance, you're pottering around is like a kid with a giant sword, playing games. A higher form of guidance and a higher form of strategy takes care of this. It doesn't mean abnegate your responsibility, but it means try to always remain with your head in the clouds but your feet on the ground. This is both a physical war, but it's also a psychic one. And the guidance that comes to you is the most important thing, and it will show you where to go and what to do about it. And that kind of particular guidance I'm talking about is not the same kind of sorcery that the Black Lodge has. They have high intelligence, and they have tremendous human knowledge about us on the most fundamental levels. But they lack that connection to the higher intelligence. And that's their ultimate downfall, together with what I said about evil having the seeds of destruction within it. You choose that road, and you will be terminal. You choose the organic, living, feminine, flow of the Tao, and no matter what tyrannies exist in the world, no matter how things get bleak, even if things get 10 times as bleak as they are now, worse, like a prison planet, really and truly, as long as you're with that flow, you're in your center, and it doesn't matter, you see. So it's all about where you are, and they can't inhabit that place, which is why they want dominion, right, over the world. If you can't rise yourself, what's the next best thing? Push everybody down. You're actually remaining exactly where you are, but you've done a good job, like the teachers and bastards we have to deal with every day. They're going to, push you down, and then they feel mighty high. Well, that's what the Bushes and Obamas and the Stalins and all do. They cannot rise themselves, and we have to understand this. They're static spiritually. And the moment that you start doing your spiritual homework, the moment that you do your spiritual homework, you are then on the road to victory.
Okay, y'all, I want y'all to check this out. This is the new Mission Impossible movie trailer. Now use your discernment with this, okay? Check it out.
Your days of fighting for the so-called greater good are over. This is our chance to control the truth.
You see the cross?
The concepts of right and wrong.
You hear what he's saying?
For centuries to come. You're fighting to save an ideal that doesn't exist.
Come on.
Never did. You need to pick a side.
You need to pick a side. Y'all don't see this? They be putting it right in our face. You gotta use your discernment. Oh my goodness.